Yeah!
Summer classes start soon at University of Maryland University College. Visit umuc.edu.
Good morning, America. Breaking news as we come on the air. Former Patriot Aaron Hernandez found dead in his jail cell this morning while serving a sentence for murder. The new details coming in right now.
Breaking overnight, President Trump's close call. A Democrat emerges on top of that special election in Georgia after the president's big endorsement of his Republican opponents. The crucial seat in Congress now heads for a runoff. And overseas, the Trump administration talking tough to North Korea, but facing new questions about that aircraft carrier. They said it was heading to the region. It wasn't. Calls growing louder for Bill O'Reilly to be fired.
Bill O'Reilly's got to go!
As a new accuser comes forward claiming she was the victim of sexual and racial harassment by the cable giant. New reports now that the network may part ways with O'Reilly. Will Fox's biggest star ever return?
And who's the most beautiful person in the world? The star taking the coveted People magazine title for the 5th time. Who's winning over the globe with her smile and that laugh? The big reveal first, right here on GMA.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And it's great to have Michael Strahan back with us this morning, but a lot of breaking news.
Yeah, we're going to get right to that breaking news this morning. Aaron Hernandez found dead in his jail cell just a few hours ago. The former New England Patriots star convicted of murder apparently hanged himself on the same day the Patriots are headed to the White House. ABC senior justice correspondent Pierre Thomas starts us off with all the latest. Good morning, Pierre.
Good morning, George. Corrections officer found Hernandez in his cell around 3:05 a.m. He apparently hanged himself, utilizing his bed sheet attached to the window and attempted to block the door with various items so that people couldn't get in. There was an attempt to revive him, but he was pronounced dead roughly an hour later at 4:07 a.m. this morning. In 2015, Hernandez was convicted of first-degree murder and was serving a life sentence for the murder of his friend Odin Lloyd. And just last week, he stood trial for the murder of 2 other men. He was found not guilty, and when the jury read the verdict, he wiped away tears. Before his arrest in 2013, Hernandez was a rising young tight end with the New England Patriots and helped them remain one of the most successful teams in NFL history. He was also a star at the University of Florida. Patriots coach Bill Belichick was asked about Hernandez just the other day. He replied with just one word: tragedy. Robin?
Oh. Never more so true than that. All right, Pierre, thank you. And there are a lot of other important stories that we're following this morning. The results of Georgia's special election coming in overnight. It is now headed for a runoff. Democrats battling to take a seat from the GOP and show they have momentum going into 2018. And Vice President Pence addressed troops overnight, warned North Korea the U.S. will have an overwhelming response to any attack. We'll have much more on that in a moment. But first, let's start with that high-stakes special election in Georgia. Our senior White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega, has that story for us. Good morning, Cecilia.
Robin, good morning to you. This race is being waged more than 600 miles away from the White House, but it is being called a referendum on President Trump.
This is a 30-year-old political rookie who Democrats hoped would deliver a knockout punch to President Trump. A special election to fill a vacant congressional seat in a solidly Republican district, and Democrat John Ossoff, the former congressional staffer who has never held elected office, falling just short of the 50% of votes needed to win the whole thing. He's now headed to a June runoff against Republican Karen Handel.
For those of you who want to stick around. This is going to go on for a little bit longer.
The president taking credit for the outcome before the race was even called, tweeting, "Despite major outside money, fake media support, and 11 Republican candidates, big our win with the runoff in Georgia, glad to be of help." That help he's referring to, a robocall in the lead up to the election, President Trump hoping to sway voters.
Hello, this is President Donald Trump. Liberal Democrats from outside of Georgia are spending millions and millions of dollars trying to take your Republican congressional seat away from you.
Democrats poured millions into the race, saying it's a sign of an anti-Trump movement that could help them take back the House, and they are now looking to another showdown.
They certainly are, and the White House is pushing back on calling this race a referendum on the president, but there is no way around it. This once Republican stronghold, a seat formerly held by Newt Gingrich, George, is now competitive, and Democrats feel they've got a strong chance.
Okay, Sia, thanks very much. Let's talk more about this now with John Avlon, editor-in-chief of the Daily Beast, and the president also claiming some measure of victory with his tweets after the. But he can't take a lot of comfort in this result. 48.6% of the vote going to the Democrat.
Yeah, and this is a heavily Republican district. Back in the day, this was Newt Gingrich's district. W won by 2-to-1 margins. So the fact that this was a squeaker, narrowly beating that 50% margin, is not a good sign for Donald Trump. In this suburban Republican district, the Trump brand isn't selling.
And it turns out also that the Republican vote was splintered, but the Republican candidates who were closest to Donald Trump did the worst.
That's the really fascinating thing. An establishment Republican, quote unquote, Karen Handel, came out on top, and she'll face Ossoff in the runoff. But the ones who hugged Donald Trump tightest, Tea Party activists who had the endorsements of a lot of far-right celebrities, did terribly. They couldn't even get outside the margin of error. That's a bad sign for the Trump brand and coattails going
But now
forward.
the Republicans have 2 months to regroup. The vote will be in June, and Ossoff is now going to face a lot of scrutiny himself. He was able to make this whole runoff about the first race about Donald Trump. This is going to be about him as well. He doesn't even live in the district.
That's correct, and this is going to be a very tough way for Democrats to win. Look, the Republicans will consolidate around Karen Handel. She's been the former Secretary of State in Georgia, but very well known in the district. So it's a very uphill climb. The district is overwhelmingly slotted to be Republican. So Democrats really had an emotional victory last night, but it's going to be hard to translate to June.
On another front, USA Today reporting overnight that one of these so-called dreamers, the undocumented immigrants who were brought here as children, has been deported despite President Trump's message earlier in the year that he was going to protect them. This is the first time it's happened, creating some controversy.
Creating a lot of controversy. This does seem to contradict some of the rhetoric. It happened some months ago. Representative Steve King, a hawk on immigration, tweeting out a toast of beer to the Border Patrol agents who deported this young man. This is a sign of more controversies to come.
You're also seeing John Kelly, General John Kelly, the Secretary of Homeland Security, lashing out now against critics who say his deportation forces have gone too far, saying he's enforcing these laws in too strict a fashion.
This is fascinating. Kelly gave a very strong speech. There's been some tension between Attorney General Jeff Sessions and Kelly, particularly on the issue of immigration and marijuana. But Kelly came out very hawkish yesterday, criticizing folks in Congress who are criticizing the Border Patrol, saying, shut up if you're not going to change the laws. Fascinating stuff, Kelly.
John Avlon, thanks very much. Let's go over to Robin.
All right, George, thank you. Now to that health concern for former President George H.W. Bush. He is hospitalized in Houston this morning after suffering from pneumonia. Bush, who is 92, was last hospitalized with pneumonia for 2 weeks in January. Our chief White House correspondent, John Karl, has the latest on the president's condition. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Robin. The former president remains at Houston Methodist Hospital this morning. He was admitted on Friday with a persistent cough at the hospital. Doctors discovered he had a mild case of pneumonia. His spokesperson says that he remains in good spirits this morning. This is, as you remember, the second hospital scare this year for the former president. In January, he was admitted also with pneumonia and spent 2 weeks in the hospital, some of that time with his wife, former First Lady Barbara Bush. The Bushes missed the presidential inauguration, but they did make it to the Super Bowl, participating in the official coin toss. They're eventually getting out to the 50-yard line. And just last week, former President Bush appeared in quite good spirits. He received a visit from another former president, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, gave him those socks. Yes.
Yes.
Any word on when he possibly could be discharged?
No word. They say that he remains in the hospital for further observation, and while he's doing that, he's regaining his strength and getting some much-needed rest. But no word on when he's coming home.
Yes, we all hope for a full recovery. All right, John, thanks.
We certainly do. Okay, Robin, thank you. We're going to move on now to that show of force with North Korea that wasn't exactly what it seemed. Reports last week that President Trump was sending an aircraft carrier towards North Korea to confront the nuclear threat.
We are sending an armada. Very powerful.
But I think when you see a carrier group steaming into an area like that, the forward presence of that is clearly, through almost every instance, a huge deterrence.
In fact, that carrier group was thousands of miles away, heading in a different direction. So let's dig into what was going on with our analyst Steve Gagnier, a former fighter pilot, State Department official. So, Steve, how do you explain a miscue like this?
Well, clearly, George, the reality was not matching up with the rhetoric. On one hand, it's good that they stayed in the exercise with the Australians, our most important partner in the Pacific. But on the other hand, missteps like this often happen when you don't have your full team on the playing field. There remain over 500 political positions that are still open. Secretary Mattis isn't getting much help as he tries to run that $1 trillion Department of Defense.
Yeah, in fact, the Navy had actually put out the proper information several days ago. It just wasn't corrected at higher levels. But I guess the bigger question is, how much does this damage the credibility of the United States with the threats it's making?
Well, the so-called Armada is on its way, and it will get there. But, George, I think what the administration is clearly signaling here, absent some sort of misstep by Kim Jong-un, the next steps will be economic. And so instead of looking at the Department of Defense, I think we need to look down the street at the Department of Treasury for the next steps from the administration.
That would be coming from the Secretary of Treasury. You're still hearing some tough rhetoric from the Vice President, Mike Pence, overnight. He's in the region saying we will respond to any provocation with overwhelming force.
Yeah, that's right. But this is the same consistent message that American presidents have been giving since 1953. Kim Jong-un and his family know that any steps across the DMZ will result in the annihilation of North Korea.
Meantime, on another front, Steve, we learned yesterday as well that U.S. fighters were forced to intercept Russian jets who were patrolling off the Alaskan coast.
Yeah, George, I think the fact that this is news is the news. This was a daily occurrence during the Cold War. These are not terribly impressive airplanes. They're actually older than I am, which is saying something. And so the fact that the Russians are doing this and they're doing it so infrequently really is the story here.
But you talk about this was something that happened quite regularly during the Cold War, and it comes against the backdrop of Russian officials, at least, saying that we have the worst relations between the two countries since the Cold War.
Exactly, and the fact that this is all that they can muster in terms of testing us says a lot about where their military is and how far it has degraded since those days of the Soviet Union.
Okay, Steve Gaynor, thanks very much.
And George, we're going to move on now to that deadly shooting spree in California. A suspect is in custody this morning, accused of killing 3 white men because of their race. ABC's Kana Whitworth is on the scene for us there in Fresno with details. Good morning, Kana.
Robin, good morning. Police are saying this was a hate crime solely based on race, that Corey Muhammad wanted to kill as many white men as he could before going to jail for a previous murder.
Authorities say this is the gunman who went on a deadly shooting spree in broad daylight in downtown Fresno.
We're getting reports of multiple gunshot incidences in the downtown area.
Corey Ali Muhammad allegedly firing 16 shots in less than 2 minutes at 4 different locations, killing 3 white men Tuesday morning.
Yeah, we're going to need to get more units out here.
We just got another call in of 6 shots fired.
Authorities say the 39-year-old first opened fire on a PG&E truck at 10:45 a.m., shooting and killing the passenger. 34-year-old Zachary Randalls, the married father of 2, was a new employee on his first ride-along with the company. The suspect then firing at, but missing, a nearby resident, only to kill 2 more men before police apprehended him.
He made some spontaneous statements. I did it. I shot them.
2 months ago, Muhammad posted this video of a song to YouTube.
Death and destruction, murder and mayhem.
He yelled out, Ali Akbar, as he was seated in the backseat of the patrol car.
Police believe this shooting was a hate crime and not related to terrorism.
Based on the information that we have been provided, this is solely based on race.
Police say Muhammad is also responsible for murdering another man last week, 25-year-old Carl Williams, a security guard at a nearby motel. Muhammad allegedly telling police he wasn't going to jail for shooting a security guard and was going to try and kill as many people as possible.
Police charging him with 4 counts of murder and 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon, saying the night that he killed that unarmed security guard, he also tried to kill his partner, but simply ran out of ammo. Robin?
Such a horrible story. Have they recovered the murder weapon?
Yeah, Robin, police are saying that after the shooting spree yesterday, Muhammad threw the gun into a pile of clothes. So they've been unable to find it at this point. Again, they do believe he used the same gun to kill the security guard and go on that deadly shooting rampage yesterday.
Terrible. All right, Kana, thank you.
Horrible. We have seen hate crimes rising all across the country this year. Another killing now. The new details about that Facebook killer who sparked a national manhunt before he killed himself when cornered by police. ABC's Alex Perez is on the scene in Erie, Pennsylvania. And Alex, the showdown unfolded after a quick-thinking McDonald's worker spotted the killer in her drive-thru.
Yeah, good morning, George. That's right. The beginning of the end for Steve Stevens started right here at this McDonald's. When he pulled up to that drive-through window, an employee there immediately knew it was him.
This morning, the 46-hour nationwide manhunt for the so-called Facebook killer is over. Steve Stevens killing himself after a dramatic police chase.
Looks like there's one guy down in the white car.
Now, the woman at the center of his deadly rampage is coming out of the shadows.
Can you say Joy Lane?
Joy Lane, the ex-girlfriend Stevens says helped motivate his random execution-style murder of 74-year-old Robert Godwin, speaking exclusively to Cleveland Fox station WJW Tuesday.
The hashtags Joy Lane Massacre. I don't know if I know how to be Joy Lane anymore. I don't know how to pick up all the pieces of my world at the moment.
Lane says she spoke to Stevens the night before the murder. He told her he'd quit his job and was moving out of state. After seeing the horrific video, she tried calling him, but he wouldn't answer.
I've got a lot of negative comments. I've been told that I'm the one who should have died. He should have killed me.
On the run since Easter Sunday, Stevens was finally cornered 100 miles from Cleveland in Erie, Pennsylvania, Tuesday. Police closing in on him about 11:10 a.m. Employees at this McDonald's say he pulled up to the drive-thru ordering 20 chicken McNuggets and fries.
The drive-thru employee that was working at the time recognized him.
That worker immediately calling 911 while others stalled.
Basically just told him it was going to be a minute for his fries. He was a little nerved up, a little agitated, and didn't want to wait. Said he had to go.
Stevens takes off. Within 30 seconds, police in hot pursuit. The surveillance video capturing the chase before police eventually ram his car, bringing him to a stop.
The vehicles surrounded the white Ford Focus, at which time Mr. Stevens took his own life.
And that McDonald's employee, besides recognizing his face, also noticed the white car and noticed that it had Ohio tags, and that's when she knew he was right in front of her. Robin, guys?
Such quick thinking by her. Is there any word on if that employee will receive the reward money?
Yeah, absolutely. Quick thinking by her part there, Robin. And authorities say, you know, the distribution of those funds is a whole process, and at this point, they just don't know yet who's going to get that money.
A lot of people are saying she deserves that money. All right, Alex, thanks so much.
I believe she does, Robin. And now we're going to turn to the dangerous flooding in Texas. Residents are cleaning up this morning after nearly a foot of rain fell, damaging homes and businesses near my home state, my hometown of Houston. Now that system is heading north, and Ginger, you've been tracking the whole thing.
Oh, these pictures just from southeast of Houston, Michael. Good to have you back, by the way. But you can see not the images I wanted to bring you back to, because these places have been flooded not just outside the homes, but inside homes. Looks just like this. This is such a mess, and anyone that's had any flooding knows this is not a one-day process. This is going to be a long cleanup for those folks. And now that storm's on the move, already dropping trees into homes in central Tennessee. Hail was falling through parts of Kentucky and Tennessee. And for this afternoon and evening, especially into the evening hours, it's really eastern Iowa, Des Moines in it, in that enhanced risk area. There's enough spin in the atmosphere, enough of what we call wind shear, directional, and of course happening with speed that changes with height. And then you're going to get the possibility of tornadoes and hail and, of course, damaging winds. A real quick look at tomorrow's forecast, too. But first, we've got to get to your stormy cities, brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Liberty Mutual stood with me when this guy got a flat tire in the middle of the night.
Hold on, Dad. Liberty did what?
Yeah, Liberty Mutual 24-hour roadside assistance helped him to fix his flat so he could get home safely.
My dad says our insurance doesn't have that. Don't worry, I know what a lug wrench is, Dad. Is this a lug wrench?
Maybe. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
And a very good morning, meteorologist Brian Vandegraff. Isolated shower not out of the question today, but the big story, the clouds. Look at that. Lots of cloud cover, temperatures in the 60s. But if you like warmer weather, you don't have to wait long. Tomorrow we surge back into the low 80s. Could be a hit or miss shower or storm by afternoon, nothing too widespread. And then Friday, once again, still in the 80s. A few showers late as our next front comes through. The weekend much cooler. Some showers late Saturday. Doesn't ruin the day, but Sunday could be a washout with high Sunday barely near 60 degrees.
Michael, you were somewhere warm. I'm going to go ahead and take off. Cool?
Go ahead.
All right, good. Now that it's cold here, welcome back.
And I hope my mama call anyway. Now, if I don't call her after the flooding in Houston, I'm really in trouble. Yeah. And you know, it was rough with the weather, but it was also rough if you're a Boston Celtics fan. Yes, after the Bulls beat them 111-97, they could become the first team ever to lose in the first round of the NBA playoffs to an 8th seed. Woof, that's a lot to hold on to. Yeah. Now, Chicago now hold a 2-0 lead in a 7-game series, and fans at the TD Garden certainly weren't happy, but no one seemed to handle the losses poorly after Celtics Marcus Smart. Now, check out what he does. He misses a